Welcome in to This Week at Gridiron Icon, and I am excited to invite in this next guest, someone that I think is a Gridiron icon. Also happens to be a Hall of Famer with Navarro Junior College, all Big 12, Texas A&M Aggie, former Green Bay Packer defensive end and Super Bowl champion, now doing this little thing like filmmaking, acting, and also happens to be the host of the Undefeated with Michael Montgomery. Welcome in, Michael, man. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm a pleasure to be on the show.
It's great to catch up with you, man. It's always fun to hang out with people that you've watched play and have followed their careers, and now even post-career. It's great to connect with you, man. So thanks for taking the time for us. You are a busy guy. I know tomorrow you've got an alumni event, so we're going to keep this short and tight. We're going to rapid fire you, just like you're playing defense on the defensive line again.
Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah, you're like, okay, man, hit me with it. So, okay, typical standard stuff. Tell us how you got into football. Take us back to when you were a kid. I know your mom was an athlete and a leader in another sport, but tell us how you got into football, and was it your first love?
Basketball was technically my first love. I
Okay.
always had this big dream to, be 6'9" and be a McDonald All-American and go to Duke and then go to the NBA. But as my mother, she was a Hall of Fame basketball player at Panola Junior College, Stephen F. Austin, and played in the pros and Olympics and all that. And I saw how, the sports, created opportunities for her to travel and do all these amazing things. So, I started playing football to, make me better as a basketball player. I figured, football would make me more aggressive. I'd be more stronger for basketball. But Texas is king when it comes to football. And when it comes down to it, I was talented enough to where I could walk on and play basketball in any college I wanted to. So
Wow.
I went as I started playing football, my first year, junior year, I got first team all Big 12. And it just became easy for me because of my length and my athleticism and my effort. So football was just really naturally easy for me to as a defensive lineman. So after my junior year, I was like, man, I could really go to a big Division I school. I just gotta keep playing.
Wow, man, that's amazing. So basketball was actually your first love. That explains the arm length. I mean, now we're watching the NFL draft or the combine now, the underwear Olympics as they call it, and they're talking about arm length and wingspan, and you were that guy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in the last playing in the last 10 years, it seems
Mm-hmm.
like everybody at the defensive end or outside linebacker position now, everybody wants a guy with length. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so tell us first, let's talk about Texas high school football. That's like a religion, another planet. How did you deal with that as a guy who really loved basketball? Did you find the whole Texas football thing almost overwhelming, or did it
Uh,
just slide into it?
Well, I just slided in. I mean, when I was playing, social media, nothing like that, it was really not prevalent, not like out there. So, you just had to just play every game like and enjoy it. It wasn't really nothing about, how many stars you are, who to huddle or nothing like that. It really didn't have nothing like that. So I just went out there, just tried to play and just try to make every play that came to me. So it just was really natural for me. I had some really great coaches teaching me the fundamentals. Billy Ferris, Coach Ferris in Texas, and Coach Paul Essery. So I had really good coaches to teach me the fundamentals of how to be a defensive lineman.
Wow, man. And so you decided there had to be this point in your career as a young guy. You're still a young guy by all standards, but by a younger guy,
Yeah.
where you had to kind of give up the basketball. How tough was that, man? I mean, and what made you decide, look, I'm a football player?
I gave it up. I had to just prioritize. I played. I was all state in football and basketball in high school.
Wow.
I played in the All-Star games in football in high school, football and high school. football and basketball in high school. And then I went to Navarro Junior College, and I played my freshman year. I played football and basketball for the junior college. And then that following year, they wanted me to come back, but during that time, I wanted to take recruiting visits and figure out which school I want to go to. So I just told them, look, I got to take these visits. I got to figure out which school I want to go to. And A&M was gonna let me, but I had an injury and I had a setback, so I just figured to just stick with football. But it was daunting to me because I was the type of guy who always wanted to. I told myself I wanted to either go pro in football or basketball, and I just wanted to be the first. That was one of my goals: be the first guy to play pro in football and basketball. And when I got injured at A&M, I was out and I had to come back and win a starting position. So I just had to dig deep and figure out, like, I really have a great opportunity in football because, basketball, it's all about height and weight. And deep down, I didn't think I was tall enough. I know it sounds crazy, but
it does sound crazy to those of us.
so I just decided to stick straight with football.
Do you recommend that for young athletes today that they do several sports? I mean, because that is, with the demands, it's tougher on the body now. You mentioned you had injuries, but do you recommend that for, like, especially kids, high school?
I recommend, especially I recommend to do it early. Play multiple sports early, and when you get to high school, it's kind of like maybe try to home in on one or two sports that you really like. Especially if you're in a big city, because right now, today, everybody's training. All kids are training, and AU and all this stuff. So it's a lot more prevalent to get in line and figure out what sport you really like, because it's not like it used to be. People are getting training, and like if you put a kid in sports in high school, you're kind of like behind. So I think expose them early, try to figure out which one they really passionate about, and when they get to high school, maybe stick to one or two sports, so they won't get burnt out.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, they got to be students too, right? You've seen that all along your career. Yeah, it's amazing. Now they got all these camps, quarterback camps, defensive player camps. I mean, you could be doing sports year round. So I got to ask you, for all the moms out there that might be listening, how did your mom handle you saying, I think I'm going to play football, Mom, over the hoops? For a lot of reasons, because moms are like, I don't want you getting hit.
She didn't want me to play. She was like, man, it's a violent sport. Yada, yada, yada. I'm like, Mom, I'm only going to do it a couple years, the last 2 years in high school, so it wasn't that bad. So, plus, just keep me something busy. I was in a small town, Center, Texas, maybe, 3,000 people, 3,500 people. So, it just kept me busy. And plus, sports allowed me. I was a super shy guy when I was growing up, but playing sports allowed me to open up, talk to people, see sides of me that I never thought I would see playing sports. So, I just saw it as a benefit to be around people, around my peers, and also just athletically and be in physical shape.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and to have a mom who's an athlete is supportive. I got to ask that because there's all sorts of moms out there. No, I don't want him playing football.
Yeah.
And you were a good basketball player, and she was a basketball player. So it's like, man, she put up with that. Man, I'm so impressed with your journey, and I kind of like to dig in a little bit because I think it's inspiring for those of us that are tryhards or overachievers or guys who go through some challenges to get to where they want to go. Your career path was not without challenges, and you didn't start immediately at the Division I level at Texas A&M. You went and are, might I add, folks, a Hall of Famer at Navarro College. When you look back on that journey, how did it shape you? How did you navigate taking it's common for a lot of athletes, but a lot of kids now are like, no, I'm going to play Division I right out of the chute. I mean, come on, that's not always the case depending on what's going on in life. How'd you navigate that, man? And what would you tell young guys today, starting at Navarro and getting to Texas A&M?
Well, I say grades first. I was,
Hmm.
in a sense, I was lazy. Coming out of high school, I
Aren't we
figured,
all?
yeah, I was coming out of high school super lazy. My mother, she was a high school coach and teacher. She would always tell me, son, you need to get your grades up. You can't be selling for a D. You can't be selling for a C. You want to go to big schools. And I was like, and I was big headed, and I was like, look, man, I'm all state, and football and basketball, MVP and everything, all that stuff. If they want me, I seen the program. I seen how they make
Good show.
I see how they make that movie. They manipulate grades and get guys in. I'm thinking, these schools gonna do that for me, but lo and behold, a lot of schools backed off on me because my grades wasn't right. My GPA and my ACT wasn't high enough. So
Wow.
I just had to just go to junior college. So I took on junior college visits, and I liked the Navarro Junior College because they had an academic plan. They had an academic structure for me, on a piece of paper. They say, hey, if you want to get the D1, boom, they laid out a piece of paper showing what classes I need to have, what grades I need to make. And it just put the pressure off on everybody else for me to be successful. So it gave me a pathway. So if I failed, it would have just been on me because I couldn't act like the academic advisor wasn't putting me in the right classes or yada yada. So it just made it simpler. And plus the apartment style living, they had a really great living situation in Navarro, and that what really sold it. The academic structure that they have for their guys and apartment style living. And not
And
only
mom
that,
probably, yeah, mom blessed that one, I'll bet. She's
yeah.
like, okay, so young people, men, women, athletes, you heard it right from a pro, a Hall of Famer, and a guy who's won a Super Bowl. Get good grades, go to school. It's not easy, but you got to do it. Despite that, you did it, man. And on the football side of things at Navarro, uh, unbelievable. You dominated 131 tackles, 6 sacks. What was that like for you physically playing against that competition? Was there other great athletes who were just making their way to Division I at that time? And or did you find it like, man, I'm crushing these guys out here?
Well, man, junior college had a lot of great talent. I mean,
I'll bet.
what separates junior college. I mean, and they even made a TV show about it called Last Chance U.
Oh,
It's
I
on
watch it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's on
yeah.
Netflix. Like you see the most talented people because they just didn't have the grades. So,
Yeah.
we always see guys going to Miami, Nebraska, Kilgore, um, junior Georgia military, Oklahoma NEO. So it was a
Wow.
lot of great talent out there that I was competing against every game. Guys that was signed with Texas, TCU, just didn't have the grades and had to go to junior college. I played against a bunch of guys who I'm really good friends today with. I played against in the league. Brandon Jacobs,
Oh, wow.
the running back for Giants.
Oh my God. He was a load,
Yeah,
man. You had
I
to
played.
tackle him.
Yeah, no, I had to play. I played against him in junior college, my freshman
Wow.
year, and he was at Coffeyville and Coffeyville Junior College. And
Okay.
this is a funny story. He was we both was at this it was at a bowl game, and at a bowl game you meet the players before you play, and this is a time where we didn't watch film of the team we were about to play, but we just practiced what we did. So I saw him. He's my size, my height.
God, he's
So I
big.
go up there, man. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm Mike Montgomery. I play defensive end. What you do? You play defensive end too?" He like, "No, I play running back." I'm like, "Running back?" I told the coach, I said, "Hey, man, you didn't tell me we were playing a running back that's 6'5". Oh man, but he torched us. I mean, I had a great game. obviously, you know, I was tagging him. But when he got to the linebackers in the secondary, man, he was off to the races.
That's a big boy that's gone past all the big boys, and now he's
Yeah,
dealing with 5'10", 180-pound corners. That's not fair.
man, that's not fair because you know, and he's not like a guy that's a bruiser. He has some speed too. So he
Oh
ran
yeah.
a 4.5 at the combine. So he's a guy who has some speed, some serious speed too.
Man, he was scary with the Giants. I mean, he was that going back even farther, that Christian Okoye, these really just big monster like Derrick
Mhm.
Henry today. You're just looking at him going, this guy shouldn't be a running back. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, he made
But
it
he
work,
is.
man, and made it work, and got a championship out of it.
God, that's incredible, man. Great story. So, okay, so you make the jump from junior college, you get square with the grades, you're on to Texas A&M. Was that a big leap for you mentally, emotionally, physically, or was it like, nah, just bigger stadium?
Well, I just know it was bigger, better talent. Like you know, as a defensive lineman, I'll think about the offensive lineman I'm be facing.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be guys always because in junior college you might find places play against a guy who's good, but he's not. He might be undersized. You know, he might be like I'm 6'5", so I might be playing against a guy that's 6 feet or 6'2". You know, offensive tackle. But in D1, you playing against guys that's 6'5" and up, 6'4" and up, offensive linemen and strong and big. And the difference between uh, junior college, high school to Division 1 is effort. You know, you got to really uh, uh, over analyze, over effort your moves, getting off the block, and that's what separates. You know, because people are playing hard and playing hard to the whistle. So you just got to really overemphasize ripping off blocks, getting off blocks, using your hands, being physical, using your leverage. So it was me. I just attacked it. I was a guy, my goal was I want to start. So my goal was to show up on tape every time I got on practice field. So I just hit it hard. And my goal was trying to start and just prove to those coaches and to my teammates that I deserved to be a defensive lineman there. Uh, so that was my goal. I really didn't shy away from the moment. I actually got excited about the moment being there because I was at this big Division 1 school. I did everything I needed to do in junior college to graduate and be Division 1 eligible and sign with a big school, D1 school at A&M. I'm playing in the Big 12 and I'm playing again, and the schedule is lined up between bunch of Heisman hopefuls from Larry Fitzgerald to Vince Young to Cedric Benson to Darren Sproles to Alex Smith. So
Wow.
I'm playing against guys, Adrian Peterson. Forgot about him.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad. But so I'm playing against these guys who are up for the Heisman. So I just know if I have a good game against them, I know I increase my chances of getting to the NFL. So I just took it, and once I got on that field, I just played hard and played aggressive, hard and aggressive.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, the stats bear it out. 123 tackles, 7 sacks as an Aggie, and might I add, an interception. Do you remember the interception and who it was off of?
Yeah, I remember it was my senior year against Iowa State. Uh, and it's funny, I was sick that game too. I was like
Oh,
coming off of,
man.
I was really sick coming off of flu. And it was a drop back that our defensive coordinator called me a play where I dropped back into coverage. So I think Red Bryant got some pressure on the quarterback, and he just heaved it up to a guy in the flat. And there's one thing about it: when I drop back into coverage, I always see where the receiver is going. I don't know why some D linemen, they just sit back and just stop in one area. No, I always saw when I'm dropping back, I'm seeing where the receiver's at, because 9 times out of 10, he's maybe doing a comeback route or something. So I want to at least just get in that pathway between me and the quarterback and the receiver, so I can get between them. So I stood where he was going to be at, and he tried to lob it over me, and I just jumped and caught it. And I would have got a touchdown if Jack was blocking for me, but it was cool. When I got that interception, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get drafted after that. So
and you did.
that really solidified it.
That's awesome, man. Of course, when I've seen the clip, it really reminds me of that guy used to play hoops. Like, you got the long wingspan and you're like, I know exactly where this is going. And you've seen more of that in the NFL just in the last 10, 15 years, like JJ Watt and Jadeveon Clowney, all these guys getting interceptions yourself. So really fun stuff. So for a kid that wants to go play college football, what's your greatest advice for them? Before we get into your pro career, which is awesome.
Grades. I say if you want to go to a big college, you got to make good big college grades. So you got to study your ACT, your SAT testing, keep your GPA up. Just do all the right things academically to set yourself up for success. I mean, you can be the best player in the world, but if you not making good grades or you're failing, you're never going to get seen because you won't be able to make it past the season. So I'll say get your academics, your GPA and your grades and your ACT scores up high. And that's number one. Number two, just play with effort. Whatever you do, play with effort. Because a lot of times, especially in high school, especially, high school down, guys don't play hard till the whistle blows. And that will set you apart from a lot of people. So I say, get your academics in right. Number two, whenever you're in there, play as hard as you can till the whistle blows. And that's going to maximize your time, maximize yourself in the game. And then the other things should just follow suit because, effort is between you and you. Nobody shouldn't have to coach you up on effort or enthusiasm or intensity. You should already have that. So I say, academics and effort, and then everything else would follow it in place.
Oh man, great advice, man. I got to tell you, as a guy listening to this, I see a coach in you. I see a coach in you, and of course, the child of a coach. Yeah, effort, man. You should never be outworked. Great stinking advice. Okay, let's jump into your pro career. That's probably where a lot of us, most people will immediately know you from and recognize you from your time with the Green Bay Packers, an iconic franchise.
Yeah.
You got to walk us through what it was like to hear your name and get drafted. I mean, what are you, 21, 22?
I was 20. Yeah.
You were 20. Oh,
yeah,
you were even younger. That's
Yeah,
right.
I got
So
my birthday was in August, so it rolled around every year. So I was always in school early, everything like that. So
we're the same guy. What day, man?
18th.
I'm the 14th.
Oh wow!
I think I'm a little older than you, but we'll leave that alone.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But okay, so 20 years old, you get drafted to the Green Bay Packers. They've got a few players we all know of. What was that like for you and your family emotionally? We see the clips on the draft now, but for you personally, I'm going to be a Green Bay Packer.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was a dream come true. I was, like maybe 4 years before, I would like record the draft every year, and it was like a ritual for me, and just one day being drafted. That was like an ultimate goal for me. Just hearing my name called, them showing the highlights. Even had an email called NFL Draft 2005. I was just Yahoo. So I was just obsessed with being drafted and making my way. So
wow.
it was
There's
just
a real message right there, man.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
real message about manifesting what you want on this planet. I love it. Sorry,
yeah.
keep going.
No,
Wow.
because I remember I was in high school and one of my best friends' dad. I told him I said I'm gonna get these stats and I'm gonna go to the NFL. I'm gonna be a professional athlete. And he was like, "Man, you don't know what you talking about." And I said, "Look, man, I did the numbers. I was talking like an accountant. I said, look, if I have um, this amount of tackles, this amount of tackles for loss, this amount of sacks, and I get like first team all Big 12, a first team all district, that's gonna, get me noticed. And then I go to junior college, I get this. I told myself I wanted to just be first team in everything I do, first team, everything I do. So in high school and in college, and if I get that, that will like solidify me as one of the top players in the conference. And I'll go through a good conference. I'm gonna get drafted. I'm gonna get because everybody especially Big 12. So I told them I get these stats. Shoot, I'm gonna get drafted. And then then I got drafted. He was like, "Man, you said it." I said, "Look, man, stats." Effort, that's one thing. Effort, that says a lot. But when you have statistics and stats that back it up, they can't deny you because you're not only, you're showing that you're a guy who plays hard, but a guy who can make the play when it comes your way. So, I was all about those stats, getting tackles, getting sacks, tackles for loss, first team this, first team that. So I was always just trying to always achieving something everywhere I go.
God, that's great, man. And I got to tell you, your stats back it up from high school through college to the pro. I mean, effort, man, good message, really good message for any athletes out there listening or that want to attain to this kind of level of pro football. So you get drafted by the Packers.
Mhm.
You're going from Texas to Wisconsin.
Yeah,
And you're playing with some guys that are going to end up in the Hall of Fame,
yeah.
some teammate and some great teammates that I think should be. What was that like for you at that age? And was there any teammates or coaches that really stood out to you or impacted your life during your Green Bay Packer days?
I think there maybe been like two people I guess kind of was like super close that I mean impacted me from like a moral standpoint. Aaron Campman, he was a guy who played defensive
Wow.
end,
Yeah.
and he was a guy who just did his job. He was a good human being. He was married, had kids. He was a hell of a run stopper. You start developing into a pass rusher and start getting, all pros. I think my second or third year. So he was a guy who played, balled on the field, and was just a good human being.
Wow.
So he was a guy who kind of just stood out to me that really made me think like I be a better person.
Wow, that's fantastic, man. I actually remember him very, very well
Yeah, yeah.
playing football up there. So you get great people. You play with some people again that we mentioned, all the names you'd expect that might be Hall of Famers.
Hmm.
You actually got to experience some of the fun stuff traditionally in Green Bay, like the bike ride.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah,
a
yeah,
photo of you earlier today, actually, with a little guy carrying your helmet. You're out there
yeah,
on
yeah.
that bike. Uh,
I always get the smallest kid and give him my helmet. So
would you really? You'd like seek
yeah,
out the
I was
littlest
trying
guy.
to, the
Oh
smallest
man.
kid, and he'd be like, and I thought it was so funny. We get the smallest bike and smallest kid, and he'd be like, "Oh my,
I love it, man. That's great. That kid will never forget that, man,
yeah."
as they get older. What's your fondest memory in Green Bay? I think I got a pretty good idea, but what's your biggest memory as a Packer for the Packer fans tuning in?
I guess winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Um,
hard to
that was
beat that.
amazing to see because when I first got there in '05, man, we went from worst to first, and from 2005, first year I think we went like 4-4 and like 8 or something like that. And
Yeah.
our coach got fired first season there, and then turning around, just building and adding great players like Charles Woodson,
Oh man, I
John,
love Charles
yeah,
Woodson.
yeah, Johnny Jolly,
Yeah.
Clay Matthews, AJ Hawk, Ryan Grant, Greg. So we just added great players throughout the draft and free agent, and just start competing a lot better on the defensive side of the ball. And that really, really, because the offense, we all knew what they was going to do.
Yeah.
So I think the defense kind of caught up to the offense, and that what made us a dynamic team that year.
God, that's almost you almost sound like a scouting report for today's Green Bay Packers. Like they need a little help on defense. We can talk all day about Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams who left and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But you still follow the team?
Yeah, I still follow him. Man,
Nice.
that's that Devontae Adams, man, that's a tough one.
I got to tell you, that's a gut punch, man. I'll say it.
He has to really develop a rapport with with more receivers, especially get them through the draft. So they better draft and develop well in the receivers. So whoever they pick up, man, they better make sure he's ready.
Yeah. Still big shoes to fill, right?
Yeah, big
Good
shoes to
grief.
fill. So, and that other receiver left, and he went to Kansas. Marquise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valdez
So,
Scantling. Yeah.
So they're losing some players. Just just plug in and play in that role. So, I hope whoever they draft is ready. So.
Makes me wonder if they'll reach out and grab it. Not that we'll turn this podcast into Packard modern day talk, but it makes me wonder if they'll reach out to a Julio Jones or somebody like that. Bring somebody to come in and help Aaron Rodgers out a little bit.
Yeah, they need to. It sucks because I don't see nobody. I don't see nobody coming to Green Bay. Or that because Odell's still out there.
Yeah, he's staying on my squad.
Yeah, I know. I think because he don't want to deal with that cold. So
it's tough.
It's tough when it comes to trying to get players to come. So
it's not Los Angeles, it's not New York, it's not Vegas, it's not Miami. It's tough.
Dallas,
I mean, yeah, it's got to be tougher. You're buying into a history, an iconic history up there. Okay, so your journey. Speaking of that, here's a guy from Texas, a hooper, turns into a dominant football player, ends up going to Lambeau Field, Green Bay. Spent a little time in Minnesota, went back to Green Bay. So you went from Texas to cold country.
Yeah.
You were like shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
That had to be a culture shock. But here's what's so interesting about your journey, and I'm going to say it, I think it's inspiring. You actually, after your time in the NFL, you spent time in the other leagues, some of the other leagues, Canadian football, UFL, and some of those squads. What was that like for you? And do you have any advice for an athlete that goes to the NFL, then makes changes? Because we've got the USFL coming back. We've had the XFL. We've got a lot of pro options now. But how did you navigate all that? It's fascinating. It's rare we get to meet somebody that's experienced all of that.
I say, just find what works. I mean, there's so many opportunities out there, and it makes it like more like media wise, public wise, because the guy could be the best player, but if he's at a smaller school, people not looking at him, or going to a smaller school, so or black college, we won't get a lot of that publicized. So I say, man, just play the game, make solid decisions when you think about college. Because look, I knew for me, if I was in a big conference, if I established first team all Big 12, it'd make it easier for me to get drafted. Like if I was at a smaller school, D2 or D3 or black college, no offense, I know, if I achieved first team all Big 12, that it wouldn't be publicized as much. So I say when you make decisions based off, your end goals and what do you want out of the game, do you want to be a professional? You want to go all the way, or do you want to just have a good time? in the sport. So I say, just have a plan in place, and playing in different leagues. I had a really great time. Uh, I think I was like second in sacks at the UFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I mean, every step of your career, you've had a big impact, and that's unique, man. UFL, CFL. Was that just a strange adjustment for you? I mean, playing in another country, it's still cold.
Yeah.
Texas guy up in the cold.
Yeah, it was Canada. It was because more like a arena style. The D
Really?
lineman had to line. It was more geared towards offense. The linemen have to line up like a yard off the ball, and receiver gets a full sprint. So it was more geared to the offense. So plus it was cold, and you got to walk everywhere. I'm sore, and my knees are sore, and I got done practice. I got to walk to a train and walk off a train and walk through downtown.
Really?
Yeah. It was kind of hectic, but overall, football is football, and they still, you still make good money playing in the CFL. So, that's another option. Like you say, there's a bunch of options out there. So I say, man, just for somebody that's looking to be a professional, just play every down, and let your game speak for yourself.
God, love the message, Michael. Man. That's been that's literally the thread in talking to you is effort, give it 120%. I know it's cliche, but you're living proof of the fact that, hey, I had some challenges. I started in one sport, ended up being great at another sport. And I mean, I think that experience in the other leagues has got to be we've seen great football players at Kurt Warner, NFL Europe. Now he's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Warren Moon played in Canada. A lot of guys that have had that unique experience. So I wanted to ask you how you felt about that. Just as we close out on your pro career, toughest player you played against, man. We got to ask you the cheese questions because fans just want to know who's the toughest. You faced tackles, guards, tight ends. Was there anybody that you're like, this guy's a load? I'm going to have to bring my A game.
I think Orlando Pace. I think he was.
You absolutely made my day as a Rams fan.
I know. I have a picture on Instagram with Orlando Pace and Steven Jackson.
Oh my gosh! Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and it was a play. I remember. I was so excited. I was my first year, and he was just doing everybody bad. He's about 6'8", about run a 4'9", 4'8" or something. So, and they had Steve Jackson back there. He was like 6'1", 6'2", running back. So it was a goal line. They put me in a goal line play. So I went off on him. I literally bench pressed him, and I got off the block. And as soon as I got off the block, Steve Jackson was there. I tackled him, and I got up. I started getting excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm beating my chest. And then the next play, there was a pass play. I went to do the same thing. He just grabbed me and just threw me like Jazzy Jeff on Fresh Prince, where Uncle Phil threw him out the door. That's how I felt.
You went to Bel Air, huh?
Yeah, I went to Bel Air.
I got to tell you, man, that you made my day. That was unsolicited, people. Everyone knows I'm a diehard Rams fan at heart, but I got to tell you, those two guys, Steven Jackson's so disgustingly underrated. It makes me sick, but Orlando blocked out the sun, man. He was huge.
Yeah, huge.
I think he was a hooper at one point, wasn't he?
All of them are. All of them are.
God, you made my day, man. That's fantastic. Okay. So as you look back on your pro career, biggest moment, Super Bowl, you mentioned some great teammates. Is there anything you do different before we get into your post-football career life? Anything you look back and go, knowing what I know now, by the way, I would have loved if you played two sports. We've seen you do it with baseball. I don't know how your body would have made it in the NBA and the NFL, but that would have been epic.
Yeah, that would have been epic. That's one thing. If I would have done things different, I think I would have kept playing both sports and just see where that landed me. I think if I would have just kept playing both because I came off and I was doing really good. And then he said the next year, he said he wanted me to start my sophomore year in junior college, but I was too busy going on visits and private planes with Division I schools and stuff, trying to figure out. So I think if I would have changed, I would have went and just played both sports and maybe saw how that opportunity developed.
God, Bo Jackson Montgomery. You would have been doing the double sport thing. I love it, man. That's great. Real quick, do you get to play hoops at all now?
No,
I know you're not playing football, so
no, I just still just do exercise and try to stay nimble and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, you're looking good, man. You look good. So let's get into that. Nice segue. Post-football career, you are having some fun out there. You've done it all on the field, on the court when you were younger. Now you're doing kind of the acting, the filmmaking thing. And for those listening, go check out, follow, and subscribe to Michael Montgomery, Undefeated with Michael Montgomery. You can find it on all the usual spots, including YouTube. Tell us about what you're doing post-career, man.
Post-career, having fun doing a podcast, Undefeated with Michael Montgomery, talking about overcoming adversity and just building healthy relationships. Because, I believe success is supposed to be shared. Nobody shouldn't go through things alone. And just try to highlight people who I met. I had the opportunity to be in the film, be in real estate, be coaching. So I met a lot of amazing people throughout my life. And just want to just highlight them. And, doing some film, TV shows. We got one that's coming out in a couple months called 85 to Aho. Play the lead character. Yeah, I call the lead character's best friend, and just having fun. So, and in the future, just going to develop a nonprofit to give back to people in my inner city in East Texas. So just doing things and work and just being a blessing to others.
Yeah, that's great. God, Michael, that's awesome, man. We'll promote the heck out of that nonprofit and anything else you're doing. I got to tell you, talking to you, I see a lot of life coach type vibe with you, man. Like I think you're going to end up there somehow. Maybe not even by design. You're just going to go, how did this happen? No, it probably comes from your mom a little bit too. Oh, that's awesome. So what do you find on the acting, the filmmaking thing, making some guest spots, starting to do that? Is that hard work? Does that strike you as hard as work as some of your sports career?
Well, sports is physical. Acting, and that's mostly mental. Everything is mostly 60% mental because, you got to learn how to, understand lines, understand the scene, know your cues, it's so much that goes into a film. It's a lot. Football is I always said football was like the easiest thing I ever done.
Interesting.
Yeah. When I look back, I was like, football was easy. You just do what you just do. You hear a call and you just do what the call says. And that's it. And it's a one-on-one game. You beat the guy in front of you, you win, and I always said football was like the easiest thing for me. You really didn't have to, your game, your play really speaks for itself. You really didn't have to talk and promote yourself verbally and stuff like that, but just how you played, performed on the field really was your resume. And it just took the pressure off of everything else when you're playing good, and that's one thing I look back, I wish I wouldn't have worried so much, because I was a guy, I was playing good, but I would worry, and I was balling, but I still was worrying that I would get cut or stuff like that. And if I told myself to go back, I would tell myself not to worry. As long as I'm putting good film on tape, I'm gonna get my opportunities. So that's one thing, especially when you get in the professionals, and I came up as a low draft pick, So that was one thing I wish I would have changed, not to worry.
God, that's good advice, man.
Yeah,
By the way, all of us do in every field. So
yeah,
you're far from alone, but that's something. It's kind of interesting talking to ex-athletes at a high level. They all say, yeah, man, I don't think the fans don't realize the pressure,
mhm.
just the anxiety of having to perform constantly. And we're just people. We have good days, bad days, all the same stuff. So God, good advice, man. Good advice. So have you been starstruck yet on set acting? Has there been anybody that just like, oh my, that's that's
I
Halle
guess,
Berry or
I
something,
guess, I guess, I guess when I met Lou Gossett Jr., I was a little
Oh
stuff.
man, he's a
Yeah,
legend.
yeah, yeah. I was star. I played his son in a movie, and I was
What?
just a little starstruck. And man, I was just like, wow, this guy's looking at me, and looking me in the eyes in the scene, and I was like, man, I need to bring it, So that was
Oh,
a thing that just kind of, that really just kind of was big for me.
oh, he's a legend, man. I had
Mhm.
no idea. I'm gonna have to check that out. Okay. Yeah, Lou Gossett. Dude's a legend. I love it, man. Well, awesome. Okay. We are going to get you out of here, but we like to do a 2-minute drill with all of our guests. This is where we just have fun. We don't go too deep. It's just about everybody wanting to know, Michael, who is
Yeah.
this guy? So we're going to hit you with some questions, and I can't wait to hear your answers on a couple of these. Okay. So 2-minute drill. Question one, grass or turf?
Grass.
Amen.
I like to feel my feet in the ground, my cleats in the ground, so I can get a really good get off.
I've never had anybody say turf yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I like
No
to.
athlete's like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want that stuff. Okay, enchiladas or tamales, or does it matter?
Enchiladas. I'll take enchiladas.
Yeah, yeah, we're the same guy. Nice.
Mm.
Do you watch football now? If so, what's your
Yes.
game day beverage? Go
Ooh,
to.
beverage. Ooh.
You're a healthy guy. I saw you do. We were
You know,
chopping it up.
if I did, I like those orchids, those apple orchids,
Oh,
and
that's okay.
just some regular Gatorade. Gatorade Zero. So I'm
Making
super
us all
healthy.
look bad, man.
Yeah,
There we
I'm
go.
super healthy. Look,
I can tell.
even this diet, 5 calories, 5 calories. So
Hydrate that man. Hydrate. Yeah, he was eating lean protein when we got together tonight, folks who didn't get to see that.
yeah,
He's healthy. Okay, cats or dogs?
dogs. I got one. He's a baby. He's a Doberman called
Oh,
Optimus.
Optimus. Oh, that's a killer name.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Optimus the Dobie. Wow. Okay. Easy enough. I would have guessed that, I thought, with you. Okay, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, or who cares?
PlayStation.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, the Microsoft people are crying right now. PlayStation. Got it. Favorite movie?
Logan from Marvel. Yeah, the X-Men Logan. That was
Yeah, that's Wolverine. Is that Wolverine?
Wolverine. Yeah, that's
Okay.
Wolverine. Man,
Wow.
that movie has so many layers to unpack.
Dude, we need another hour with you. You're a deep guy. Like you've got looks of that layers to the character.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially
yeah.
actor.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
Okay.
just I researched and understood, like, you got to find what uh like every character, every person, when you're in a movie, they're scared of something. They're afraid of maybe facing fears. Him was open up his heart and loving, and he had this little girl that's a daughter. So just his world was turning around. So, but yeah, Logan.
Okay. God, man, that's a great answer. Did not see that coming. Okay. Your most underrated teammate at any level.
Underrated teammate
Could
at
be
any
someone we don't even know. There's this person you go, man, we should that guy or that girl, whatever the case.
Well, there was a guy on my team in high school, man. I swear, if he was
There you go.
like 6'2", he'd be in the league right now. He'd been in the league
Wow.
along with me. His name was Richard Ruiz, and he played the other side of defensive end. I was a big one. He was a small one, and he was like maybe 5'9", 5'10", but me and him was going sack for sack. I had
Wow.
10 my senior year, and he had like 9. So,
That's
he was
awesome.
just a football player, man, who was smart and crafty and played hard with his hands. So if he was taller, he would have sold his ticket and made it.
Wow, high compliment, Richard. Wherever you are, man, your guy just got your back there. I love that.
Yeah. We would do
That's what this is about.
We would do the JJ Watts would do this.
Oh,
we
yeah.
would do this stuff in high school. Like, I don't know where we got it from, but we would always do this to each other when we get a sack or something. So salute to Rich, man. He made me push myself to try to get to the quarterback before he got there. So
God, I love that. That's what this podcast is all about. Rich, wherever you are, man, kudos, dude, as you're standing over a crumpled quarterback. You guys are giving each other the love. I love it. Okay, the person you most want on your podcast could be any line of work because you've got a lot of them.
I said I would want The Rock. I would want Obama. And I would want
interesting.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, Shaq.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Oh, God, why am I not surprised? I got my last question's NBA, so just get ready. Okay. Who plays you in a movie of your life?
Oh, man, that's a good question.
Okay. We stumped him.
Who plays me?
Michael Montgomery. You got to pick.
In a perfect world, I'll say Idris Elba.
Oh, man, that's good. I got a man crush on that. Look, I'm not going to lie. That guy is just smooth in every way.
Yeah, that dude
good looking, great voice. God.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite movies, Birth of a No Nation.
Oh,
Birth of a New Nation. It was crazy because, in acting, when you take on a character, you got to find things you like. Even though his guy is a war criminal that's marching these children soldiers across the land to take over land, you have to find something good that you enjoy, and you got to find his motivation in it. And I just saw it as a coach, he played it like a coach, like a football coach, drill sergeant, making his kids empowering them to give them guns, to do things for their but I just saw it from a different angle, and he was really they gave him some good lines in that. He played he made that movie.
I love it, man. Really good choice. I wouldn't have guessed that one. That's a great choice. He's got to be the next James Bond. I don't know what everybody's waiting for.
Come on, Hollywood.
Let's do it, people.
Yeah, Hollywood. Y'all will make a killing. Black Panther. Don't that black dollar, man. Don't disrespect it, man. Y'all got to make that happen, Universal.
Amen, bro. I'm right there with you. Like, I've been saying that for 2 years. As soon as Daniel, I'm like, Idris Elba. Okay. All right. Last question. If it's too on the spot, tell me to pound sand. Michael or LeBron?
If we play, I say me. Yeah, I'll take it. Shoot, I don't care how big it is. He don't want to try to get physical like that no more. He's not really a physical. Well, yeah, he is. I'll say I'll take him. Give me a shot. I'll take him. Especially my heyday when I had the good knees and I was dunking all over the place. I would have got him.
Yeah. Oh, I love it, man. Hey,
my game was like in high school, and when I played back, I was more like Zion Williams. That's how my game was.
I wish he could play.
Yeah, me too. But it might be better. Man. It might be better for him than get a draft pick. Get him a high draft pick that can really. So just sit out this season, and if they can get a good draft pick, depending on where they fall, but they still might have some chances with the players they got. So they just need to get a good draft pick who can make an impact defensively. Defensive first and offense second. So
he needs a running mate. I mean, if it's Kobe, Shaq, or Jordan, Pippen, Zion, you can't just put it all. He's so young too.
Yeah, I think they need a point guard.
Yeah.
Or like a big guard, like a guy, like a Paul George or something like that. Somebody who has size and athleticism, because Zion can, need that point guard or a three. They need a 1 or a 3, and they can be a lot more. And you got to start off with defense because New Orleans, Sheesh, man.
Yeah. Look what happened to the Lakers this year. Oh, good. We're starting a whole other podcast here.
Yeah. We're gonna,
so, okay. So final question. Who is, do you have an NBA team you follow?
It was the Lakers, but man.
Mine too, man. I'm an LA guy.
Sheesh, man.
I'm in pain today.
Man, I really thought they could make it work. But when I figured out they had Westbrook, they had Carmelo,
Dwight Howard.
I'm like, man, who's gonna play defense? I mean, Dwight could play, but he's at the, under the goal. I'm talking about who's gonna stop the guards from penetrating.
They had nobody. They had nobody.
They let go. They should have kept the guy from A&M. I forgot the white boy from.
I know who you're talking about.
Caruso. They should have kept Caruso.
Yeah.
They should have kept everybody who they won a championship with.
I don't know why they didn't. Subject for a whole other episode.
Yeah, they couldn't afford everybody, but sheesh, they should have kept McGee. They should have kept Caruso, Rondo.
They're a hot mess down there right now, man.
Yeah.
Hot mess. Well, I'll tell you what. Hey, we got the makings of another podcast. Stacy and Michael talk NBA. We'll talk about that off the air.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Well, folks, I can't thank this guy enough. Michael Montgomery, formerly of the Packers, Hall of Famer, Navarro College, actor, filmmaker, podcaster himself. Where can you find him? Like, subscribe, as I mentioned, to the Undefeated podcast on YouTube. Lots of really cool interviews and inspiration over there with Michael. And then on Twitter at I am 96GB. Where else can we find you, my friend?
Twitter, Instagram, I am 96GB. Facebook, Michael Montgomery. YouTube, Undefeated with Michael Montgomery. So yeah, that's it.
God, I just realized you even have a movie star name. Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Oh, man, appreciate that.
All right, my friend. Thank you for joining us on Gridiron Icon. And to all those listening, like, subscribe. You can find us everywhere. And to my friend Michael Montgomery, we will see you soon.
All right. Thank you.